All right, what is going on, my dudes? We got another list here today, a new one. This is going to be a quick video today because there aren't too many 7 stars in the game yet. We're not going to be taking the champions who are going to be entering the game as 7 stars in the Titan pool in a few months into account here. This is just like, who do you have right now? Who can you have right now, okay? So there's only going to be like 6 to 7 champions per category, so every single 7 star in the game is going to be on the list in one way or another, okay? So let's start jumping into it today. Here we go, the best 7 stars in my opinion to take to rank 2. For skill, up first in top options, we have Mantis. Mantis as a 7 star is absolutely unbelievable. She's also getting buffed in a couple of days, so her ridiculous special 2 that always kills in battlegrounds and war size health pools is going to get even higher. At rank 2, honestly, it's almost a bit overkill, but it's the kind of thing where it's going to be very useful against like Dr. Doom, Sasquatch, Absorbing Man, those type of champions where you're up in battlegrounds, right? And you have a Mantis on your side and you have this big scary Dr. Doom on the other side. That 200 something thousand guaranteed special 2 at rank 2 might be the difference between a win and a loss, okay? Also, with the new scoring changes, you don't have to go for the intercepts. You can go for the intimidate right away, and then you can hit block. You're going to be gaining 2 per charge after the buff, right? So you put the intimidate on, 2, 4, 6, 8, back up, 2, 4, 6, 8. You have 16 charges just from hitting their block 2 times, which is pretty good, man. So yeah, Mantis, just a great champ. Moving on to great options over here, we have Falcon, Elsa Bloodstone, and Killmonger. So let's quickly go over the list here. Talking about the key. So the little asterisk, that means like really probably wouldn't rank them if they're unawakened, right? So the asterisk means they want to be awakened. A little cone is going to mean they want to be like high sig. So like obviously Korg is going to have the high sig one as well, okay? But Falcon, a rank 2 Falcon is pretty darn solid, especially if you put the Black Widow relic on him. Very, very good, man, because it's going to be all that defensive ability accuracy reduction on top of very solid damage from the 7 star stats. So Falcon, especially duped, is actually a very solid 7 star to have, especially if you have that relic for him too. Elsa Bloodstone, lots of huge Elsa fans out there. There are lots of rank 2 Elsas flying around already. She's a great champion. She's a lot of fun. Killmonger is an interesting champion, man, where it just, I feel like he would really benefit from a value buff where like he can stack his bleeds, his crit rate is increased a little bit, maybe the bleeds do a little bit more damage, right? But he's a solid champion at the end of the day. The 7 star stats definitely help him a lot. But for defensive purposes, he really is going to want that sig ability, the reverberation. That's one thing that makes him a lot harder to deal with on defense. So if yours isn't awakened, I personally wouldn't recommend the rank 2, but if I got mine awakened, I would consider it. I probably wouldn't do it personally, that's just me, but he could be a great option, especially when duped. Moving on to debatable, we have Korg and Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye is exceptionally underrated. Here's the thing though, he does need to be duped. Sig 20 is fine, so 1 dupe is okay. But having like a rank 5 equivalent Hawkeye is actually going to be really solid. He's very versatile, lots of utility, amazing damage when duped, especially as a 7 star. So yeah, if you're a fan of the champion, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of like the perfect release mechanic that he and Kate have. They're both great champions. They're both very useful. I just don't love the slow-mo mechanic personally. So I don't know if I would rank to a Hawkeye. There's also just better champions to rank. He's kind of basic, but he's very solid and very efficient. Then there's Korg. You know, Korg is the type of champion where like if you're really big into battlegrounds, obviously you're going to know that a Korg is going to be great for you on defense. It just won't do much for you on offense unless you have synergies with you, which you can't have in battlegrounds, right? So if you want to have fun with Korg with synergies as a 7 star, unduped, I feel like it's fine at rank 1. You know what I mean? Kind of that kind of thing. I wouldn't rank 2 an unduped Korg or even a low sig Korg to use with synergies and casual questing. But if you're a big Korg fan and you want to, hey man, live your best life. Moving on to science, Titania and Hulk. Oh my god, these two. These two champions are honestly, in my opinion, a little bit too good to be in the first 7 star pool. But they're both absolutely incredible, man. Like top 5 arguably science champions, and they're just like running around, running amok in the 7 star pool. They're both so freaking good. Like unreal. Like they're both so incredible. Moving on, we have Overseer, Joe Fixit, and Spider-Gwen. The science class is so good, man. So the thing with all 3 of these, I wouldn't... Spider-Gwen less so, but I wouldn't really want to rank to them unawakened. Overseer preferably wants a higher SIG, but he doesn't need it. Joe Fixit is fine at SIG 20. Spider-Gwen preferably wants a higher SIG, but she's also okay unduped, but I personally wouldn't rank her unduped just because Titania and Hulk exist and they're 100 million% fine unduped, you know, that kind of thing, where I would like probably hold the tier 6 class catalysts until I pull one of them, just because they're so hard to get still. You know, July 4th obviously had them like dropping from the skies like candy, but that's not going to be a reality going forward in everyday life. So if you only have 4 science tier 6, right, I would personally hold out for Titania or a Hulk. Then we have Debatable. We do have Spidey Classic, who's a very underrated champion, honestly. Bittersteel just made a great video of unduped Spidey doing incredible things in Battlegrounds this season. So go check out his channel. He makes some very solid content, especially for like Battleground stuff like that on underrated champions. But a duped Spidey is actually pretty insane, especially if you put some synergies with him like Shang-Chi and Hitmonkey. And the upcoming Spidey 2099 relic is going to be incredible for him, increasing the duration of his taunt, the potency of his physical resistance, physical vulnerability, and also making him buff immune, essentially, immune to precision. So his stonks are going to go up a little bit, I think, but a 7-star duped Spidey Classic is actually kind of insane, especially if he's a high SIG, but even SIG 20 is like okay. Moving on to Mystic, we have America Chavez and Wiccan here. Now, I do want to say both of these champions preferably do want to be awakened, but it is certainly not like something that you need the awakening for. That's why they don't have the asterisk there, because a rank 2 Wiccan America unduped is going to be very, very solid where they're solid, you know. Wiccan's still going to smash Gore, smash Hulkling, all that stuff, all those champions where Null as well, right? All those champions where he's going to really feed into that, you know, RPG mechanic of the Mystic over the Cosmic, where you hit them and they gain buffs, right? You're going to absolutely melt them. America Chavez is one of the best Mystic champions in the entire game. She really likes SIG 20, but she is absolutely exceptional, especially as a 7-star. Just incredible two-way champion, seriously. We're on the great option, the Sasquatch. Sasquatch, now here's the thing. For offensive purposes, he certainly does not need to be awakened. For defensive purposes either, but he doesn't have his regeneration without the SIG ability. And does he have his unstoppable without it? I'm not 100% sure, actually. But point is, he's still a brick wall unduped, but he's just so much better duped than at a higher SIG. But for offensive purposes, he's totally fine unduped, and he's a great champion. Got Dragon Dude and Wong, two great underrated champions. Wong is actually a very solid 7-star to have. He is very annoying on defense, and he can do a lot of things on offense as well. I think the 7-star stats really do a lot for him. The increased combat power rate is great. You know, Dragon Man, incredible champion, just very efficient, very solid, has those immunities. He's a robot. He's very, very good. Great two-way champion as well. Debatable Mangog. Ooh, what happened there? Yeah, I like Mangog a lot. He's fun. I've noticed that he is a little bit better when he's duped. I have been missing his SIG ability a little bit. It doesn't seem impactful. Unduped Mangog is actually great on defense, but for offensive purposes, he does gain a decent bit here. He gains some increased attack rating. This is just at SIG 20, 7-star, right? Or this is just the full spectrum, actually. But yeah, then he gains some extra attack rating. He gets the regeneration while he's unstoppable, which is, you know, you play into the heavy attack mechanic. Also, every time a stagger expires on the opponent, he has a chance to gain a hatred, which is going to pause his special mango eggnog mode, whatever it's called. Yeah, so I actually have noticed on offense, she's already like kind of underperforming even in like, you know, the best matchup at SIG 200. But like unduped especially, I find that he's underperforming a little bit more than the unduped one. But he's such a ridiculous defender that you're really not going to be using him on offense much either way. So if you want to rank him for, you know, for defense, he'll be incredible even unduped. And that's why he's undebatable though, because if you don't really care about battlegrounds, care about Alliance 4 defense, you're not going to need to rank defenders. All right. Moving on to Cosmic, just Gore up top. Gore is great. He's very good after the buff, very, very solid, great two-way champion, especially as a 7-star. The 7-star stats are incredible for him. The increased combat power rate is really, really great for him. No matter what rotation you're doing, whether you're cycling special 2s and long-form content, whether you're cycling special 1s to keep your buffs up, whether you're going for the special 3, the increased combat power rate is great. The extra damage over time damage from the 7-star stats is great, right? All that fun stuff, man. Yeah, just really solid champion there. Moving on to great options, Gamora is super duper underrated and incredible, especially duped though, because you get the 100% chance for the Godslayer strike on the special attack. So you really do want the SIG ability on her, in my opinion. Terrax, incredible champion, honestly, great two-way, very underrated, very, very underrated. The thing with him is that with the new scoring changes in Battlegrounds, he's going to be very, very, very efficient on defense, unless the opponent has an Absorbing Man. So if you have like a rank 2 duped 660 Terrax, let's say you pulled him 4 times, right? You might want to like think about banning Absorbing Man, because Absorbing Man makes Terrax a joke. Keep in mind, if you have a rank 2 660 Terrax, he's probably getting banned, right? But just, that kind of thing where he's going to be very efficient by removing the opponent's health, right? And in certain metas where like power can't be manipulated, like he kind of stays in Rockfield the entire time, and it's like use Absorbing Man or have a terrible time. So he's always going to be relevant on defense. He's actually very underrated on offense, in my opinion. Venom is a great champion. He's a great 7-star. I would love to grab one. The 7-star stats are very solid on him. Venom the Duck, however, not so much. He's like okay, people have posted videos of like the fully ramped Venom the Duck 7-star, but it's like, I mean like he's okay when he's fully built up, but like who's got the time for that? If you're a big Venom the Duck fan, that's why he's indebatable. He's on the list, but I wouldn't recommend it over anyone else. And there's Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is definitely underrated. Preferably wants to be awakened at least at Sig 20. At rank 2, he does do really solid things. BMG took his Silver Surfer to rank 2, did some cool things with him, made a video on it. Go check it out if you want to see how he performs. Yeah, he's definitely solid enough, and he gets a lot better with Odin pre-fights and stuff like that, and as a Herald, but still, I wouldn't personally want to rank 2 Surfer, but he's not the worst. Moving on to tech. Shuri. Arguably the best 7-star in the game. Just incredible. Just absolutely incredible on offense and defense in almost every scenario, unless they're shock immune. Just incredible. Lady Deathstrike. She's amazing, and she's already underrated, but she is fantastic if you happen to have gotten lucky and pulled her from a Paragon Crystal. Rank 2 is going to be very solid for her. The thing is, she's an interesting one where for shorter fights, for like Battlegrounds type fights, she does not need her Sig ability. For longer fights, like Labyrinth type fights, Future Abyss type stuff, she does want her Sig ability, which is interesting. But yeah, great two-way champion. Mysterio is very annoying to fight, and he's very annoying on defense. At a 7-star of rank 2, even more so. The damage over time on the poison with the Penny Parker synergy is also kind of insane as a 7-star, so he could be a very solid two-way champion for you. Rocket Raccoon is like a battering ram as a 7-star. He hits so hard, it's unbelievable. The stat focus for like block proficiency helps him be a little bit more sustainable as well. One thing about him is that to get his utility, you really do want him to be awakened, right? Even Sig 20 is okay. If I awaken my Rocket, I'll probably rank 2 him, but unduped, I'm not going to touch him, I don't think, unfortunately. But he's a lot of fun. Moving on to debatable. Guillotine 2099. She's great. Does a lot of things. Incredible damage. But like, people like haven't like rank 4 their 6-star because it's like, oh, well, I kill the opponent before I get to a special 3 and I lose my ramp. So like now she's a 7-star, the damage is ridiculous. Taking the 7-star to like a 6-star rank 6 equivalent is like, I don't know, man. I just don't think it's necessary at all right now. Maybe for like future Abyss Everest content, like she's gonna be the way. At the 7-star, she really might be, because like her damage is nuts, all ramped up. So who knows? We haven't had content ever where we could like fully ramp Guillotine. So she's a 7-star, man. Like that damage output is insane, and the challenge rating is like you get all your hits in Abyss. 7-star Guillotine, she might be the best Abyss champ. Like I don't know. We'll have to like put her side by side to like 7-star Strife is coming in the Titan pool, so who knows? But we have to put her side by side between like some other champions, see her fully ramped. She's kind of insane, War Machine. I like War Machine a lot. I don't think I would rank 2 War Machine, but I like having him as a 7-star, rank 1. Rank 1s are useful, so I like having him. I don't think I would rank 2 him, but I do like the champion I always have. Iron Man Infinity War, he could be a decent 2-way champion. There are just so many incredible cosmic champions today. When Iron Man Infinity War was running around being the best defender, even like Corvus didn't exist, right? But Corvus came in, like shut him down. Now there's Hulkling, there's Gallon, there's Null, there's Hercules, there's Adam Warlock, right? Yeah, so the what feels like a correction for Penny Parker kind of like just like nuked Iron Man Infinity War into orbit, you know what I mean? But he's still useful, and he's decent on offense, all that fun stuff. Moving on to mutants, we have Sunspot, who is just nuts as a 7-star. Danny Moonstar, who is incredible. And Domino, who doesn't need to be awakened for offense. However, she wants to be a high seek for defense. If you care about Battleground, she has the cone and the asterisk. Now, Danny Moonstar can't counter like Nick Fury or Hercules with like the cheat death mechanic removal unless she's awakened, but she doesn't need that, and she's a great champion aside from that, so she doesn't have the asterisk. Moving on to great options, we have Bishop and Gambit. Personally, for Bishop, I wouldn't want to rank him on Awakened. Some people have. He's fine on Duped. I just really like the sick ability a lot. I like the unblockable specials on defense a lot, so that's definitely valuable to me. Gambit with the Gambit relic is definitely a lot better than without. The thing with the Gambit relic, it was just like changed, right? I didn't look into like the full details, but I believe the 3-star and the 4-star aren't super useful anymore, but the 5-star and the 6-star Gambit relic, to my understanding, are still very solid. So if you have a Gambit, you put the Gambit relic on Gambit as a 5 or a 6-star, he's like a totally different champion. Moving on to debatable, we have Sauron and Storm-X. So there's a lot of people who really love Storm-X, and if you love her, that's fantastic. I've never been the biggest fan, personally, but she's definitely a very solid champion. Sauron is interesting because I've seen him doing a lot of really great things on defense and even offense in Battlegrounds as a 7-star, but he's, without a doubt, definitely on the lower performing side for the entire 7-star pool. So I wouldn't like be running to rank 2 Sauron, but to be honest, it's really not the worst rank up, man, especially if you ban Nimrod in Battlegrounds. Like, you know, like Shuri's great for him. Howard the Duck is actually decent for him. Infamous Iron Man is good for him. Shocker's really good for him. You know, tech champions, there are a lot of tech champions who are good for him, but he could still mess a lot of those champions up. Yeah, he's pretty annoying on defense, man. But anyway, this is the current 7-star pool, including Danny and Lady Deathstrike, who most people don't have unless you open Paragons for them, right? But if you happen to open Paragons and got lucky, hey, they're great champions, congratulations. That's going to be it for this video. I am in a big rush right now, so I got to run. But if you enjoyed this video, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you have any of these champions at rank 2? Well, if you have a rank 2 7-star, you got it. Let me know who it is in the comment section below, and I'll be seeing you around.